Well, love, I'm glad you're still here. There'll be many more problems to follow, but for now, the last problem I want to do for you is probably one of the most frightening problems for any pirate to solve, unless they have CGI special effects to help them. But we don't have that. We just have our calculators and our swords and our bad Johnny Depp accents. I want to find a polynomial of degree 4 with zeros 1, 2, and 3 plus I. And I should say this polynomial has real coefficients. So, to do that, well, first, here are my zeros. Let me make my pen a little smaller because I feel like I'm writing with a crayon right now, and pirates don't use crayons. Actually, I knew a pirate once that ate some crayons. Nobody really liked to play with him very much because he'd always eat the crayons when people were trying to color, and then they couldn't color anymore. So this was in kindergarten, and they told me that if I don't stop eating, they told him that if he didn't stop eating the crayons, well, never mind. Okay, so here is my 0 at 1, which means the factor associated with it is x minus 1, love. And my second 0 is at 2, so the factor that goes with this is x minus 2. And the third 0 is 3 plus I. Very exciting, love. Which means the factor is x minus 3 plus I, love. Now, we do know one more thing. Since this is degree 4, we need one more 0. But remember, i's come in pairs. So if 3 plus I is a 0, then 3 minus I is a 0. I's come in pairs, love. Except I do know a few pirates with a patch, so I guess in that situation they don't. But in math, i's always come in pairs. So if 3 minus I is a 0, then x minus 3 minus I is a 0. And now that we have these factors, we get to do something wonderful. Even better than sailing the 7 seas, we get to FOIL these two factors, and we get to multiply these two outrageously large factors. But they're quite lovely, even though they're very large factors. So we're going to multiply them out. And it's going to be really exciting to do that. Let's do this one first. So first, outer, inner, and last. I'm going to do that fairly quickly, love, and get x squared minus 3x plus 2. Now, for these, I think there are many ways that I might do this, but perhaps the easiest way would be to distribute the negative and go from there. So I have x minus 3 minus I, and x minus 3 plus I. There's also a formula you could use to do that in your book, but I think the formula is just too much to remember, especially when it's something you can do on your own. So let's continue by multiplying these 3 terms by these 3 terms. So this thing here out in front, this trinomial, stays right where it is. And here, I'm going to multiply x times x is x squared, and x times negative 3 is negative 3x, and x times I is xi, love. And then multiply negative 3 by each of these things and get negative 3x, and positive 9, and negative 3i. And then the last thing you do is multiply negative I by each of these things, and get negative xi, or I guess I wrote ix, but it's the same either way. And then negative I times negative 3 is plus 3i. And then negative I times I is negative I squared, love. And we had just enough room to do that. Now, let's simplify this, and if we've done everything correctly, lots of things should start canceling out here. So x squared has nothing to cancel with. But, let's see, 3x minus 3x can be combined to give negative 6x. You know x marks the spot when you're finding a treasure, but here it just marks our paper and gives us lots of work to do. Okay, blah, 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 pirate breakdown. Plus xi minus xi cancel. Negative 3i, positive 3i cancel. And negative I squared, love, well, negative I squared is negative times I squared, and I squared is negative 1, so negative 1 is just 1. So 9 plus 1 is 10, love. Now, the last thing we need to do is multiply 3 by 3 again and combine like terms, only this time it should be much easier because there's no i's involved. So, let's multiply the first x squared here by all of these, and I get x to the 4th, and then minus 6x cubed, and then plus 10x squared. Then I'm going to multiply negative 3x times each of these things and get negative 3x cubed and positive 18x squared and negative 30x, love. Then the last thing I'm going to do is multiply each of these things by 2 and get 2x squared minus 12x plus 20, love. Don't forget your x there. Alright, now we need to combine like terms. I have x to the 4th with no friends. Negative 6x cubed minus 3x cubed is negative 9x cubed. And you may want to mark these out as you go. And then, love, 10x squared plus 18x squared plus 2x squared. Well, looks like 30x squared to me. At least that's what they told me in pirate school. And negative 30 minus 12 is going to be negative 42x. And then plus 20 all by his lonesome. So, love, that's how you do that problem. And I'll be back again very soon to have more pirate adventures with you and show you more problems involving polynomials. And you will always remember this as the day you almost didn't understand math, but now you do.